Okay. In shocking news. Okay, welcome to another episode of Take Up Space. Today in the studio we have Sadaf Habibii, and she's a school psychologist, and I've been really excited to talk to her because the intersection of mental health and the work that we do, and especially in schools, is fascinating and so important. She's been in the space for 5 years, and she's here with us today, so I'm just going to shoot it over to her to introduce herself.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It's so exciting to be here.
Yeah.
So many people don't know we exist.
Right? School psychologists are a thing.
They've been a thing for such a long time.
Crazy. I just feel like, man, I could go off immediately because I feel like they could be more of a thing in the school, like more present.
Yeah.
So that people are aware that they do exist.
Mm-hmm.
But before all that, introduce yourself for us. So you've been in the space for 5 years?
Yeah. So I have been a school psychologist for 5 years now.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. It seems like eons.
Eons, yeah. Do you like it? Are you enjoying it?
I love it. Some days it's a love-hate relationship, and I think we all have that with our jobs. But I love it, and I wouldn't change it for a single day.
Yeah. Okay, and what made you decide, because there's paths that we can take in our master's program, right? So you obviously decided the school path for a reason. Were you a teacher first?
No.
Okay.
I didn't even know
you had to be a teacher for 2 years or something. No?
So I've had no classroom experience. I was actually working in a applied behavior analysis clinic.
Oh, interesting.
Before this. Okay. But I don't have to have any classroom experience to be a school psychologist, ironically.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people think we do because we work so closely with teachers, not necessarily.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what made you decide that route?
So while I was working in the clinic, it was a hospital setting. So there was a psychology department that I was close to because I did parent training with kids with severe behavior challenges, specifically kids on the spectrum.
Yeah.
So there was a clinic right next door or down the hall, and I was like, okay, I want to pursue something else.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to be a clinic in the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I want to work with the underserved.
Sure.
So I was talking to a couple of the psychologists, and she was a school psychologist or a licensed specialist in school psychology.
Got it.
We officially get to call ourselves school psychologists September 1st.
Nice.
That's the full title now.
Yeah, much more simpler.
Way simpler.
Yeah. Okay.
And she was telling me about it. And I was like, okay, I really like this. I get to do behavior.
Yeah.
I get to do psychology. Like, it's a good intersection. And I get to work with people who don't have access to clinical care.
Yeah.
So that's where I started.
Okay.
I applied to Abilene Christian and I got in.
Nice.
But I deferred.
Okay.
Then I applied to Texas Women's, and then I did my interview there. I literally almost missed my interview.
Oh, no.
It went to my junk inbox.
Oh, no.
And the department chair called me. She's like, hey, do you want to come to this interview? And I was like, yes, please.
Yeah.
Don't forget about me.
Yeah.
So I went and I got in, and it's been history ever since.
Oh, I love that for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So love-hate relationship
Yeah.
between you and school psychology right now?
I would say I think it's all of us in general.
Yeah.
Just like the state of education, we get lumped in as educators,
Sure.
which is great. I love the educators I do work with. I cannot do my job without them.
Yeah.
But just like the state of the country is kind of whack.
Yeah.
So it just gets really hard because there are things that we want to do that we just can't.
Yeah. Can you give us some insight into what you mean when you say those things? Like, for example, for me, when I started my master's in mental health, clinical mental health, I had a friend at the time that was a teacher.
Yeah.
And she was trying to teach in a way that was a lot less about like discipline oriented, but really like understanding kids for being the human beings that they are and all of that kind of stuff. And so we really, really bonded at that time around the intersection of both of these worlds because if we could only bring in that level of attunement and like care and concern and the lens of like what is going on in this child's life beyond what they're doing in a classroom or showing up as in a classroom, the change we could make, right?
Sure.
Or the fact that a teacher is one of those people that like is one of those key adults early on in life, like a parent almost, because a kid spends so much time at school that they engage with, that has the opportunity to build like healthy attachment, healthy self-esteem, right? The way you discipline, the way you show up, the way you talk, all of those things play such a huge factor into that kid's life. And then also, of course, the education we do give on mental health as a concept. So I remember like nerding out over that and all the possibilities that could exist. And since then, I've been a part of some projects where we have been taking a lot of like mental health curriculum into schools. That's awesome. And just in kind of various different ways, community, or like our community based in other ways. But all that to say, I think it's so interesting to hear from your perspective, the way you just said the state of the world and the state of mental health in schools. What do you think we are getting so wrong about delivering or executing mental health in schools?
I think that although there's access, there's not access. So as a school psychologist, I work with just individuals who are special education.
Okay.
And so there's not an access to me or other school psychologists outside of special education.
So do you mean that if there's like a student struggling in a classroom who's not special education categorized, they don't have access to you?
Yes, exactly.
What if they're struggling with like an issue and it escalates? Like, would they not refer the school psychologist on site to help?
Yeah. So there's so much like hooping to go through. So like they have to have, you know, like we use DSM criteria, but it's edited to IDEA and TEA criteria. So like essentially I am like giving educational eligibility to students.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily, it's not a medical diagnosis. Like it follows the lines with some parameters.
Okay.
So like a kid could 100% be struggling, but not require specially designed instruction in a school setting.
Okay.
And that's the hardest part. So like, let's say this kid is struggling. They haven't been struggling. They'll go through what we call RTI or MTSS, so multi-tiered systems of support.
What does that involve?
So like we have tiers of support in the school system. So you have tier 1 support, meaning like they need something like extended time. So a kid who might have a medical diagnosis of ADHD comes to the school or doesn't have any paperwork. They're not a student who is serviced under the 504 Disabilities Act.
Okay.
And their teacher just accommodates them by giving them extra testing because they are a slow processor.
Right.
So like that would be a tier 1 intervention.
Okay.
Then you have tier 2 and then you have tier 3. And so when you start having more challenges, you go up these tiers and you go up the levels of support. And then they start talking about moving this referral into special education. So they'll try 504, they'll try all these interventions at the school level. And then if they're not working, they'll tell the special education department to rope the school psychologist in or an educational diagnostician into the school.
So it's tiered, and when you get to the higher tiers, you're classified as that special education?
After I do a whole evaluation.
Okay.
So like not all evaluations require a school psychologist in the state of Texas. So if they require like an emotional behavioral eligibility, so I'm looking at anxiety, depression, mood disorder type of stuff, autism and ADHD, that's when you'll more than likely see a school psychologist on your team for testing.
So you can't see a school psychologist for like a general issue if I'm a student in school?
Nope.
That's crazy, right? Because then like who do they go to talk to?
The school counselor.
Okay, so that's the separation.
That is the separation.
Are there more school counselors than psychologists on each campus? And maybe it's different for every district.
So our like national association ratio is 1 to 500 students.
Okay. Wow. That's a lot of students for one person.
That is a lot. But that includes the school population. That's not 1 to 500 special education students.
Right.
We are servicing 1 to 2,500 and plus as our ratio.
Wow.
That's our national current ratio.
That's crazy.
Because there's not enough of us. So like ideally there should be one per school. Mm-hmm. Like in the best case scenario, I would be housed at one school all the time, 24/7.
Yeah. I really thought that was the case, but you're representing one district.
Yes, and I have other colleagues.
Okay.
So we separate, but like let's take example, last year I had a whole high school of 1,500 kids, and I had a whole middle school of 1,000 kids. And this is a small school district that I worked at last year.
Yeah.
So I'm servicing 2,500 kids by myself.
Right. That's so much.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So what has been the toughest aspect for you so far?
Equity. Like being able to give people quality intervention and care. I think that's the hardest part as a school psychologist because we're bred to be advocates.
Yeah.
But as an advocate, like I would give you quality time.
Yeah.
And not to say that I don't.
Right. I was going to say, what does it look like? Like how would it be different?
I think in an ideal world, like when people look at special education counseling, like there are school psychologists who just do testing. So they just do like the eligibility portion.
Gotcha.
And you never see them again after the ARD meeting.
Yeah.
There are some school psychologists who are like full service. So we do functional behavioral assessments and we do behavior management. We do counseling as a related service. We do the evaluation portion. We sit in on the ARD meetings. We talk to parents. We support teachers through consultation.
Nice. Yeah.
So some school districts, they have different roles for a school psychologist.
Gotcha. Okay.
In my role, I'm a full service school psychologist.
Okay. So you get to do a little bit more than just the first eligibility.
Yes. And I wouldn't have it any other way because I get to use all parts of my training.
Yeah, exactly.
And
you get to see like the full life cycle, right?
For sure.
If that intervention or whatever is happening is working and you're dealing with the parents, you're dealing with the entire system of that child.
Yeah, so it'd like be start to finish. Like I do the testing, I talk to the parent, I visit with the kid. We come up with like a good set of accommodations and a good report. And like I would get to see them throughout.
Yeah.
Like they have support now and how are they working with the support that we've identified for them.
Right.
But like year to year, we change placements. So I was in middle high school last year. This year, I'm going to elementary middle.
Okay.
At a new school district.
Gotcha. Are you excited?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
At first, I was apprehensive because I was at the same school district for 3 years, and I got to see some of my middle schoolers turn into high schoolers.
Oh, yeah. That's so special.
It was really special, and like I definitely cried and had a hard time. But like it's a part of the process, and like as a school psychologist, like change is inevitable for us.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you would still do the full service work.
Yes. So in my current role, I still get to like we have a behavior support specialist. So sometimes they're board certified behavior analysts, and they get to help with or they do the functional behavioral assessment, and I assist.
Okay.
So like that takes like one thing off my plate.
Sure.
But I still get to help with like the day-to-day behavior management.
Yeah. So to the first question on what are we getting so wrong for you? It's about access.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
100%. Like there's not enough of us, and the number does.
Yeah, it's insane.
It gets more and more every year.
How many school counselors per student? Do you know?
It
like
depends
ratio-wise.
So I think the current ratio for many schools is 500 to 1.
Okay. Still, the gap is huge. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah. And so like counselors will make social emotional curriculum.
Yeah.
And they'll have like teachers do it during like an advisory time or this time. And like parents have the ability to opt in or opt out.
Okay.
So it's like not mandatory in some places.
Yeah. Do you think it should be?
Yeah. I think that it would help so much.
Yeah.
If a kid just understood like how to even just like self-regulate.
Right. Yeah, honestly, if I could think of like one skill that should be like a mandatory must-have for every human being, is emotional regulation, right? Like that is equivalent to preventing things like suicide, preventing things like any of like the violence that we see even, right? Because those we know are a reaction or a response to a dysregulated system.
For sure.
And I know it's simplifying it in that way, but the root of all that is like expressing your emotions, identifying them, allowing them to move through you, and having more control or tolerance of those, right? Sure. And I see so little of that in schools, but also so little education of that. So to your point, like mandatory would be ideal. It would be ideal. Oh, yeah. And that being said, like I was saying earlier, the initiatives that I've gotten to just put like my hands on have been really powerful. They are focused on emotion regulation and emotional skills and building that type of language for kids. But it's new. It's like pilots, and it's like, it's in 100 schools. So it's limited. It's obviously not everywhere. And there's a long, long way to go. But in that kind of way, I'm always like, okay, there's progress. Like clearly we're all thinking about it. We're having those conversations. But you're in the space yourself. So would you say we're really far off?
I wouldn't necessarily say we're far off because there are some school districts that do it better than others. And I can't speak to all the school districts that are around here. But like some school districts are more for it because they have the population or they're in the area of the Metroplex that receives it better. Yeah. It's like it really depends on
where you are,
the location and things like that. But there are things. It's just sometimes it's not enough to deal with the ACEs that these kids come in with.
Yeah, ACEs being the adverse childhood experiences. Yeah. Sorry, I was just saying that out loud so people know what that is. But that's a perfect segue because I was going to ask if you had to identify, so you said what's so wrong is access, right? Yeah. And now to take it a step further, if we had to define like the real crisis in schools right now around mental health, and if we pinpointed what that was, for you, would you focus more on access or burnt out staff? Because again, the ratio is so large, or the salary is so low. We could even go there, but or untreated trauma, right? Or what else would you kind of identify as the current crisis state of mental health? And would you even say it is?
I mean, I think as a world, we are in a crisis. I mean, every day there's something new related to education happening. Yeah. Somebody's taking something away. There's little access. And I mean, my whole job is DEI. So like there's a lot that's happening with that. Yeah. But like teacher burnout rate, salary, there's so much that goes into the education space. And like teachers get into education, like people working in education, most of us don't go in it for money. Right. We're going into it for the kids.
Yeah, of course.
But the output of it, of the heart that gets put in, is not as much. So like there is a lot of burnout rate. Like teachers get fed up. Sometimes there's minimal access to parents, especially with kids who have high adverse experiences. Is they're working 2 jobs and you can never get a hold of a parent. Yeah. Which again is not their fault. Right. But there's just like so much, there's discrepancy between administration and teachers sometimes. Or you have a more old school teacher versus a new younger teacher. Yeah. And so like just the outlook of all of it, there's just so much that goes into it.
Yeah, yeah. And you would say that area or that focus is probably the biggest pain point?
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay. Or like the one that I hear the most, like in my role, is these kids don't have respect. Like these kids don't care. Like there's little respect and they just don't care.
Yeah, such like a misunderstanding of children. Like you're expecting them to behave like an adult or have the thinking capacity or logic when that's so unrealistic. Oh, yeah. Their brain isn't even developed fully yet to be able to,
not at all,
to come at you. Like, yeah, it's so funny to me when people are like, well, they're talking about like a less than like 14 years old kid and they're just like, well, they said that to me. Like an adult is saying that. I'm like, you're the adult in the room though, right? Like we can't start treating them like they're older than they are. Yeah. So you said you are in the space of DEI, right? So and many changes are happening, like you kind of pointed at. What does that look like? Like, can you give us insight into how does that affect your day and day? How does that affect schools and what should we know?
So like my job is special education. And so it's all about the I, like the inclusivity. Yeah. So like there are so many conversations that happen of like, oh, you're giving this support to a kid, but what about the other kid in the room? And so it's just like all of these conversations that are happening and the supports are being taken place. Like in some states they're talking about making emotional behavioral testing by the school psychologist obsolete.
Why would they do that?
Like it doesn't need to be under the purview of a school psychologist.
Okay.
Or they're like shifting how we address situations. So like they're taking away programs in the school that could support low income families.
Wow.
Or they're taking away like how we do certain kinds of behavioral management strategies or how we address particular disabilities within the school system or like the amount of money that's given, which is the biggest driving factor for special education because there's already a shortage there.
Right. Yeah. So what is kind of like, so these are the impacts you're seeing today.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is like turnover because there's so much behavior that's happening in the school with underlying mental health conditions, but the staff to student ratio in a school system is so high that teacher is like burnt to a crisp.
Right.
And there's lack of like returning back. So the turnover rate is so high, there's lack of consistency for kids. The teachers are frustrated because they don't have enough support in the classroom to like serve kids with like low incidence disabilities. So like kids who are hemiplegic, who have like are completely nonverbal, wheelchair bound individuals, kids with Down syndrome. And they have behavior management or they don't have enough staff in the room. So it's just really hard, or they're in a behavioral setting. Like they just do behavior all day long and there's not enough teachers in the room to help a kid who's potentially a threat to themselves or to others.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
Yes, and so like they don't come back.
Yeah.
And they could be the best teacher ever and they just don't come back.
Right. So how have you been kind of like taking all this in? Or you just change comes and it's like, okay, cool, course correct. I have to do what I have to do because this is how much money we have, or this is the new inclusion criteria. And you just roll with it? Or has there been pushback, or kind of how have you been managing that on a both like professional level, but also like on a human level for yourself?
So I have not gotten involved with like our national advocacy. Like I do it at my level, what I can at the school system. And I'm not typically involved in the number of kids per teacher because that's an administrative purview.
Yeah.
And my role is I'm staff, but not admin,
Okay.
but not a teacher. So it's like a really unique role in the school.
Yeah.
I try to embed myself in a system. If I get buy-in with teachers, like I try to pop my head in regularly, like ask them about their day, like talk to kids in the hallway, even if they're not mine, just as a staff member there. Like I like to stand in the hallway when kids are coming in off the bus and just say hey to everyone, like fist bump to kids all around. Like I like to embed myself in a system. I get more buy-in from a teacher. I get more buy-in from students and other staff, and they are more willing to come to me, and then I can be like, okay, let's solve this and let's be proactive rather than reactive, because sometimes that's all that happens is reactivity.
Yeah.
So like on my level, I try to advocate for the staff by like getting involved at the campus level and being there and showing them that I'm there for them as like a small step.
Yeah, of course.
And then of course I complain, you know, or like I read forums and like I try to be active in forums related to school psychology or mental health in general. So
yeah, it sounds like despite all that, there's so much out of your control, right? Like what you're talking about right now is a lot of changes that are happening within the world that impact you and then the students in the collective. So I think, you know, how do you manage that on a soul level for yourself? Because the world of mental health and therapy, like the questions we get asked a lot about are like self-care, right?
Yeah.
And for us, it's like we're directly one-on-one dealing with, you know, a person and their journey and their trauma, and we're leading them through that. And then at the end of the day, we have to kind of cleanse ourselves and make sure our cup is full for the next day and the next person. But where you're at, you're also, and I mean, yes, it's a little bit everywhere, but what you just described is like what's happening in the world has a direct impact on your work. Yeah. And you see the like damage that it's doing for kids and the little control you have over it. I can't imagine that being like an easy place to land every day.
It's not. I mean, most mornings I wake up and I'm really frustrated. Yeah. Like there's something new every day that impacts my job. And I just try to listen to music. Like, music is my kryptonite.
Yeah.
And so, like, I put on some music, or like I'll step into a class where I know they're doing a really fun activity that day and just watch like the kids having fun. Or I'll like schedule an extra counseling session and like add extra 10-15 minutes to it and play a game with a kid.
Yeah.
Just to like make my day lighter, or just like more worth it, because some of these kids are going through really serious traumatic life experiences.
Right.
And just playing a game with them for 15 minutes, like playing Uno and like letting them win sometimes, even though like I know they absolutely will never win a game, and just letting them win just like makes my day better.
Yeah. Yeah. So really focusing on the small joys and the small wins.
I have to.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, like, what other choice do you have? It's really out of your control. Okay, so now kind of like maybe taking the conversation to the angle of what next, right? Like, so here we are, what next? So like in your mind, if you could redesign the mental health space and the way we treat it in schools, clearly staff to student ratio being a big deal and resources and access, but how would it look? How would an ideal close to ideal, whatever it may be, system look if you were to redesign it?
I think it would be like 2 school psychologists per school.
Yeah. Yeah.
And having more counselors, because oftentimes like school counselors and school psychologists, we're the first face of mental health for any kid and their family. Okay. Because they don't know what these things are. Yeah. And then we oftentimes remind them like, hey, go to your pediatrician, like go get these other things, because they've never had any of the support. So like more counselors in schools, more school psychologists, so that we can give equity, like one person focusing on the testing portion and one person taking more counseling and behavioral role. And like we do have individuals in the schools, or like having an LPC in the school, or a social worker in the school to help with the barrier. So like I think just having more staff
is a start.
And I think that would help support a lot, because there's just not enough of us to go around.
And outside of staff, is there another change you could think of that would help the system? Yeah. Because I bet, like, I know we talked about emotional regulation. Yeah. But yeah, what else comes to mind?
Discipline. Like I think it's the hottest topic. You know, being in secondary, I see a different set of discipline issues. You know.
What have you seen? I'm so curious.
Vaping is the biggest trend in school right now, and how we address vaping or respect towards adults. There's just so much that goes into those things. And like, do I agree that kids should be vaping? No. It's detrimental to their development.
Right.
But just some of the measures of discipline I find punitive. So
what happens today, like if a kid is vaping or if a kid is disrespectful? Like what is the form of discipline?
So it's really school district to school district based. And so like at some districts, they put a kid in discipline alternative education placements for up to 30 days for having a nicotine vape or a THC vape.
So they caught it one time and they're in this.
They could be in there up to 30 days. Up to 30 days. Okay. So like there's 10 days to 30 days. Okay. And let's just say you have a second offense, 45 days. 60 days.
But what do those days look like? Are you isolated from the rest of the class? And
so you get removed into a different building, or you have ISS in school suspension. You have out of school suspension.
Okay.
So there's lots of different types of disciplinary measures. Yeah. Or like fighting is really huge at secondary. So like the first fight sometimes can be 3 days of out of school suspension and 3 days of in school suspension, so that there's enough time to investigate why this happened.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. What about the respect part you were saying?
I mean,
I imagine you're saying like if a student was disrespectful to a teacher member or staff. Okay.
Sometimes it's like the first offense gets ignored, but if it's repeated offenses, it can be up to 3 days in ISS and more for like saying the F word to a teacher.
Okay.
Or just blatantly ignoring a teacher.
Right. Yeah, I have so many opinions on what is going on, because I can't help but like think about that child and what is going on for them to vape, to be disrespectful, to get into a fight. Like, you know, understanding that. But you said discipline being a place of improvement. How would you handle those situations differently instead of 30 days, 45 days in school suspension, out of school suspension?
I think just putting things in place before.
Yeah.
I think if we can be proactive rather than reactive, there's just so many things that can happen, but discipline is often reactive.
100%, yeah.
And so I know it's challenging to put things in place prior, but I think if we built a system to where a kid didn't feel the need to bring these things or understand why a kid is vaping, and like going back to their trauma and trying to understand why they're doing it. Are they unmedicated and they're self-medicating?
Right.
What's going on at home?
Right.
What are the school system supports that we can give into the community? And oftentimes some of the community things are out of the school's purview. Like you can't do anything about it. But like what can we do to like bridge a gap from a kid not bringing it to school?
Yeah, and I think it goes back to like how can we make school a safe environment? Not just from a place of, oh, you're here to learn, so sit down and learn and behave this way that I need you to, but like looking at school as a place that's just as important as home would be, just as like meaningful, like we said, the time that is spent there, but also to look at a child as someone who's actively in development, right? Actively learning all the things about life, and the way we treat them matters, and what we say to them matters. And if somebody is vaping, even if an adult is vaping, there's a reason behind that, right? Like we always talk about not focusing on the problem that's the most apparent, or it looks like the problem. That anytime any sort of like vaping is even the question, or an addiction is in question, we know that that's a solution. The problem is somewhere else, and like the problem needs to be explored. So in these cases, especially with kids, right, when they're younger, and you have and I think that's why the school part is it hits home for me so much. It's because you're at that part of their life where there is so much opportunity for change, and so much more space to teach them something new, or to correct an incorrect environment, or whatever it might be, because that's what's going to shape them. Right. So I couldn't agree more that like the discipline aspect of this is the way you're describing it doesn't seem very effective. You know, it seems a little bit more shame inducing and isolating.
And sometimes it is. And like some school districts, again, have it better than others. It's all school district based. But some of these are state mandated. And what do you do when they're state mandated?
Right. Like that's what you have to do.
That's just what you have to do. And it's so hard to explain to a parent or the kid. And they're like, it was a mistake. And I'm like, we all make mistakes as humans, but I'm sorry, you have to go here. And it's, again, it's so shame inducing. Like they don't want to come back. My friends are going to say, oh my God, where have you been for this long?
Exactly. And then you're doubling down on whatever problem there was. Like you have now just added fire to that, because they're now struggling with the embarrassment that it comes with, or the further trouble that it comes with. So maybe sidestepping on the fact that there could be an ideal system, right? Where there was different disciplinary measures, different amounts of resources and access. If there was something you could tell to teachers, students, or anyone dealing with children that is simple, that they could do tomorrow, to just from a place of hope and a place of love, recenter their perspective and the way that they show up, what would that look like?
I think there are some teachers who do it really well, and they create relationships, and I think it's all about creating relationship and like expressing gratitude. And I know like sometimes gratitude is overused, but I think just like reminding their kids that school is a safe space, because for some kids, school is the only place that is consistent and gets them all of their needs. So just like as teachers, as educators, as staff members, just like reminding kids that like there is hope in this world. Like I'm here to support you. Like what can I do to help you? Just like those words, even though it's tough, or even showing them that I'm having a tough day. It's okay for you to have a tough day. We are going to get through this together.
Right. So like showing them your humanness.
Because oftentimes we as educators are like, I have to save face. I have to save face. I have to save face. But it's tough out there. And so like showing vulnerability, being personable, like those things I think will get a lot further because you have more buy-in with the kids.
Yeah. And it's important, right? Like to see that range from a person that is mirroring them. Because like I feel like we fall into this pit hole of like, either it's, you know, this concept of like, if they're experiencing a negative emotion, we want to get rid of it or pretend it doesn't exist. But then there's also this extreme of like, I don't ever want my kid to be in any kind of pain ever. Yeah. Right? Like, and that extreme is also harmful.
It is.
Because pain is inevitable.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
And the beautiful quote of like, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional is where the focus is. But pain is inevitable. Like life comes with highs and lows. And the skill set we need is to be able to tolerate that and regulate through that, not dismiss or ignore it. So like what you're talking about is like modeling that humanness and that range of like, I'm not doing really well today. You know, I feel sad. The world is, you know, crumbling outside, like whatever it might be. Yeah. And I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to now, you know, pick from these tools and do whatever I need to do. But I name that emotion, I own it, and I express it, because then it gives them an identification of like what they might be feeling or experiencing in space to say that. So I like absolutely love that. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to ask you some of our rapid fire questions. But before I do that, let me start with one that deals with school mental health. Okay. What's one thing you wish every school board member understood about youth mental health?
Age is not a discriminatory factor.
Wait, say more.
Like, it starts in pre-K.
Yeah.
Like mental health struggles, there's not an age on when it starts and when they end, and some never do.
Right.
Like this kid may struggle their whole educational career. How do we support them? Or they may struggle for a little while as kindergartners, as pre-Kers, and they grow out of it. But like mental health struggles are not discriminatory to age, race, gender, any of those things.
Yeah, I love that. That's so true. Do you feel like the way it's designed right now, they treat it as such? Like, oh, it's not a thing for under this specific age?
I think in my role, it's expected. And, you know, the rest of, you know, physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech language pathologists, whoever specialized services are in this school. Like some people are like, nah, that wasn't a thing when I was in school. Like when I first started teaching, that wasn't an issue. Yeah. It's 2025. It's not the same as it was in the 90s. Like people hid kids in separate rooms, and now there are kids who have challenges that are, you wouldn't even know that they're in your classroom and they have autism or ADHD or they have a learning disability or they're intellectually disabled or have an intellectual disability. Right. But they're in a regular classroom and you wouldn't even know. So like it doesn't matter who you are and what you are.
Yeah, it's something that doesn't go past any of us.
No.
And yeah, it's funny to think that it could be something that only happens to a subset of people. And I'll have a lot of clients that like compare traumas too. Yeah. There'll be something like, well, you know, this thing was just not as bad for me as so-and-so. And it happened worse for them, so they deserve to talk about it. And for me, like, you know, I still have X and Z, so, like, it's not that bad. Yeah. And so there's this, like, concept of it's, like, as if it's reserved for a select few of some kind. And I always talk about I love this metaphor where it's, like, two people are saying, my trauma was worse, or my trauma was worse, or mine didn't matter, or whatever, whichever way you want to compare it. And the metaphor is, like, well, both it's like two people drowning into two different swimming pools and one just being of different like height or feet. So like one drowning in 12 feet and one drowning in 7 feet, whatever it might be. But both situations you drowned, right? In both situations you ran out of breath and you lost air. Yeah. And so in that same example, in that same vein of things, it's like it can happen to anyone because it's not actually what happened when it comes to trauma or these adverse experiences. It's the impact that they've left. which is subjective, right? So it's
so subjective.
So important to highlight. So I love that so much. Okay. So I'm gonna wrap us in with the rapid fire, and I appreciate all your wisdom and all your experience. So let's see. Okay, what's one indirect or direct message you've got growing up that you now opt out of, generally speaking?
I was told feelings weren't a thing growing up. I mean, being a South Asian woman, it wasn't ever talked about. So like when people say, oh, it's okay, you'll get over it. No, I may not get over it. But we don't need to talk about it right now. I don't want to talk to you. Like, see you later.
Not a safe space.
Yeah. So like,
yeah,
that is one thing. Like, or if it's like something triggering, I'll just like move away.
No, I resonate with that so much. Okay, and what's one thing that you do daily to prioritize your well-being? Or not daily, but, every other day.
Yeah, for sure. I have 2 dogs.
Oh,
and I take them on walks every day.
Oh, I see. I've seen, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. I take them on walks and I go to the gym almost like up to 6 days a week.
I love that.
And those are non-negotiable things for me.
Yeah.
I have to have the space to do those. And if I can't do those, then I need to like listen to some headbanging music for like 15 minutes.
Headbanging music? What's your go-to music?
My family calls my EDM music headbanging music.
Interesting, because it's louder.
It's louder. And some days it's like on at 6 o'clock in the morning in my car.
Oh, wow.
Because I get up early for work.
I've never entertained EDM music. Yeah. Is there a specific kind to start with that you would recommend?
I don't think there's like, you could start with the more pop type ones.
Okay.
Like people, like you have a regular artist and then you have an EDM artist, and I can't think of them off the top of my head.
Okay, you'll have to send me later.
Like Tiesto is a good one. Okay. To get into, like really, really easy. Lots of good. He falls in a lot of good genres. So like Tiesto is a good one to get into.
Okay, I'll have to try it. I've heard good things, but yes, it's normally stereotyped as this headbanging.
It is
music or
related to extracurricular activities. Like drugs.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, which activity?
Yeah, no.
Got it. No, yeah.
It's the music of, MDMA or...
yeah, I see what you
things
mean.
Like that.
Okay. No, we have to try now. Okay. And then what's the weirdest thing you've ever done, whatever that means to you, to reset your mental health?
Sometimes I just sit on the toilet for way too long. I just sit on the toilet for way too long. I just sit there.
Like you're using the toilet?
Yeah.
Or are you just sitting on it?
I think there's been a time where I just sat there, I just went into the restroom and sat there. Or go in my closet and sit in the closet. Yeah. Just sitting in places where you shouldn't be sitting way too long.
Brilliant.
So yeah.
Does it work?
Some days better than others.
Okay.
So yeah.
I love it. This is my favorite so far. I've never heard anyone say that. Okay, last one. Okay, this is a good one. When you're faced with a challenge in life, be it work or something else, what's the first thing you would say to yourself to stay grounded?
So I had a kid one time. He was emotionally dysregulated. And I was saying, I'm so sorry you feel this way. And the kid yelled at me and said, you're not sorry I feel this way. I'm not sorry I feel this way. And it was a light bulb click. And I was like, that's right. Yeah. I'm not sorry you feel this way, and you're not sorry you feel this way. What can I do to help you? So, I think of that story, and I remind myself that I'm not sorry I feel this way. What do I need in this moment? Do I need to cry it out? Because I'm a big crier. But okay, I just need to cry.
Yeah, that's so interesting because the sorry really dismisses almost what you're feeling instead of allowing it to breathe.
Yeah. And I didn't think of it that way till that kid yelled at me and said, I was like, oh, I'm being sympathetic and not empathetic.
Yeah.
I'm way offline here.
Yeah.
And then I just have translated to myself, and it's helped me so much. It's okay, I need to cry.
Yeah, and honor that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such an important difference between sympathy and empathy that doesn't get talked about often.
Not enough.
That's such a common response to say something like, I'm sorry you're feeling this way.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry this happened to you. Things like that. And, it's always coming from a good place, right?
Yeah.
We say the words that we think are the best words in that moment because we've heard other people say it.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how do I handle this situation? I don't know. And so when you don't know any better, you don't really do any better. And you just, you do.
You just keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly. But what we've learned, and like, I love how you're highlighting, is that in order to really help someone feel seen and validated and understood, it's less about dismissing the emotion to make ourselves feel comfortable, right?
For sure.
To say the right thing. It's more about, well, how can I hold this space to where they can actually express that and feel safe to do so? So that shift is everything.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
It really helped me. So
okay, is there anything we didn't get to that you want to like end with or leave with? I appreciated this so much, so thank you for your.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think that there's anything that we didn't cover. It's just being a provider in the school is it's a unique. It's just unique.
It's unique. Yeah,
and I mean, I like to tell parents to advocate for their kids. So if you are seeing your kids struggle or like you see anything, ask for support. Your school is more than willing to figure it out.
I love that. Okay. A reminder for parents to advocate for their
kids. Yeah. Or if you're a kid struggling, like ask for help.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. I can't help you if you don't ask for help.
And in that way, like quickly, are there ways you can say like, how do they identify if their kid is struggling?
I like to go off of like the general criteria. If you've seen a change in behavior for a long period of time, 6 to 8 weeks, and it's just not changing, ask for support. Your school counselor is more than willing to like get the ball going and work with you.
Okay. Any kind of change, right? Emotional, behavioral.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any of it.
Love that. Yeah. So important. Thank you, Sadaf.
Thanks for us.
We did it.